I woke up to the sound of my phone ringing at 6 o'clock in the morning. I reached for it slowly, squinting at the screen through the dim light filtering through my curtains. The name flashing on the display made my stomach drop. Dad. My father, Robert Blake, hadn't called me in over a decade. Not once. Not on my birthday. Not on holidays. Not even when I graduated from technical school with the highest honors in my class. The last time we spoke face to face, he stood in the driveway of his auto repair shop in Phoenix and told me, "Girls belong in offices, not garages. You're embarrassing this family." I was 17 then. Determined. Angry. And completely alone. My older brothers, Marcus and Tyler, had laughed from the doorway of the shop, grease still smeared on their hands from the morning shift. Marcus, the eldest, shook my head like I was a child throwing a tantrum. Tyler just smirked and said, "Good luck out there, Em. You're gonna need it." My mother, Linda, stood behind them with her arms crossed, silent as always. She didn't defend me. She didn't even look me in the eye. That silence hurt worse than any words. I didn't cry that day. I didn't beg. I simply turned around, walked to the bus stop with my backpack and a duffel bag, and left Phoenix behind. I never looked back. Now, 15 years later, my phone was ringing with my father's name on it. I stared at the screen, my heart beating unevenly. I didn't answer. Instead, I let it ring until it stopped. Then I got out of bed, showered, dressed in my signature black work jumpsuit with my company logo stitched across the back, and headed to my flagship shop in Los Angeles. The drive through the city always grounded me. The hum of engines. The glow of neon signs reflecting off polished cars. The rhythm of a place that never stopped moving. Los Angeles had become my home in ways Phoenix never was. It was loud, chaotic, and unforgiving, but it respected results. And I had results. My company, Apex Customs, was now a household name. 5 luxury car customization shops across California, featured on a hit Netflix series called Built Different. Celebrities, athletes, and executives flew in from all over the world to have their cars transformed by my team. I didn't just fix cars. I reimagined them. Every vehicle that rolled out of my shop was a work of art, a testament to precision, creativity, and an obsession with perfection. But the road to this moment had been brutal. When I first arrived in Los Angeles at 17, I had $300, a GED certificate, and a dream nobody believed in. I slept on couches. I worked double shifts at a fast food restaurant just to afford a tiny studio apartment in a rough neighborhood. At night, I studied mechanical engineering videos online, teaching myself everything my father refused to teach me. My brothers had been handed the family legacy on a silver platter. They were trained from the age of 10, taught every trick, every shortcut, every secret my father knew. Meanwhile, I had been told to stay inside, help my mother with cooking, and stop playing mechanic. But I never stopped. One night, after my shift at the restaurant, I walked past a small, run-down garage on the edge of town. The owner, an older man named Vincent Hayes, was struggling to lift an engine block by himself. Without thinking, I walked in and helped him. Vincent looked at me, surprised. "You know cars?" I nodded. "I know enough." Vincent studied me for a moment, then smiled. "You looking for work?" That question changed everything. Vincent became the mentor my father never was. He was patient, encouraging, and brutally honest when I made mistakes. He didn't care that I was a woman. He cared that I showed up, worked hard, and asked questions. Under his guidance, I learned not just how to fix cars, but how to understand them, how to push boundaries, how to innovate. For 3 years, I worked for Vincent during the day and took night classes in business management and automotive design. I saved every penny. I sketched designs in notebooks. I dreamed bigger than anyone around me thought possible. When Vincent passed away suddenly from a heart attack, he left me the garage in his will. I was 22 years old, and for the first time in my life, I owned something. It wasn't much, a cramped space with outdated equipment and a leaking roof. But it was mine. I renamed it Apex Customs. At first, business was slow. People didn't trust a young woman to work on their cars. They made jokes. They asked if there was a real mechanic available. Some walked out the moment they saw me. But I didn't quit. I took on the jobs no one else wanted. I worked on beta cars, rebuilt engines from scratch, and slowly built a reputation for being meticulous and innovative. Then came the breakthrough. A local music producer brought in a vintage Mustang that 3 other shops had declared impossible to restore. I took the job. I spent 4 months working on that car, sometimes sleeping in the shop because I couldn't afford to waste daylight. When I finally rolled it out, painted in deep midnight blue with a flawless interior and an engine that purred like a dream, the producer posted a video that went viral. Suddenly, everyone wanted to know who built that car. Orders started coming in. I hired my first employee, then my second, then my 5th. I moved to a bigger location. I started customizing high-end vehicles, pushing boundaries with designs no one else dared to try. My work was bold, elegant, and undeniably mine. Within 5 years, Apex Customs had become one of the most sought-after custom shops in California. Within 10 years, I had opened 3 more locations. By year 12, Netflix reached out to feature me in a new documentary series about custom car builders. The show, Built Different, became a sensation. Millions of viewers watched me transform ordinary vehicles into masterpieces. I became a symbol of resilience, skill, and breaking barriers in a male-dominated industry. My Instagram following exploded. Magazines interviewed me. I was invited to speak at automotive expos around the world. And through it all, my family never reached out. Not once. Until today. When I arrived at my Los Angeles flagship shop, the morning sun was just beginning to warm the streets. The building was sleek and modern, with massive glass walls showcasing the cars inside. The Apex logo glowed in bold red letters above the entrance. It was beautiful, powerful, and everything I had fought for. I walked inside, greeted by my team already hard at work. Engines hummed. Sparks flew from welding stations. The smell of fresh paint and motor oil filled the air. This was my world. My assistant, Rachel, hurried over with a tablet in hand. "Emma, we have a situation." I frowned. "What kind of situation?" Rachel hesitated. "There are 3 men at the front desk. They say they're family. They're asking to see you." My chest tightened. I already knew who it was. I walked slowly to the front of the shop, my boots echoing on the polished concrete floor. Through the glass doors, I saw them standing in the lobby. My father, Robert, looking older, thinner, with grey streaking through his hair. My brothers, Marcus and Tyler, standing on either side of him, their expressions unreadable. For a moment, I considered turning around and walking away. But something stopped me. I had spent 15 years building this life, and I refused to let them take even a moment of my peace. I pushed open the glass doors and stepped into the lobby. My father turned first. His eyes widened slightly when he saw me. "Emma," he said, his voice rough. "You look different." I didn't smile. "What do you want?" Robert cleared his throat. "I know it's been a long time, but we need to talk. As a family." I crossed my arms. "We stopped being a family the day you kicked me out." Marcus stepped forward, his expression tight. "Come on, Em. Don't be dramatic. We're here because we need your help." My jaw clenched. "My help?" Tyler shifted uncomfortably. "The shop back home, it's not doing well. Dad's been struggling. We thought maybe, since you've done well for yourself, you might want to come back. Help us get things back on track." I stared at them, disbelief flooding my chest. "You want me to save the shop that wouldn't let me touch a single car?" My father raised a hand. "I know I was hard on you back then. But things are different now. You've proven yourself. Maybe it's time to come home and finally learn the family business. The words hit me like a slap. Finally learn the family business. As if everything I had built didn't count. As if the empire I created from nothing was just practice for the real thing. My voice came out cold and steady. I don't need to learn your business, Dad. I built my own. Robert's face flushed. This isn't about pride, Emma. This is about family. About legacy. I laughed bitterly. Legacy? You mean the legacy you handed to Marcus and Tyler while you told me I wasn't good enough? The legacy you said I was too weak to carry? Marcus shifted. Look, we made mistakes. But we're here now, aren't we? I shook my head. You're not here because you care about me. You're here because you need something. And that's not family. That's desperation. My father's expression hardened. So that's it. You're just going to turn your back on us? I met his eyes without flinching. You turned your back on me first. Before anyone could respond, the glass doors behind them opened. A tall man in an expensive suit stepped inside, his presence commanding immediate attention. I recognized him instantly. Daniel Cross, one of the biggest automotive investors in the country. Daniel smiled when he saw me. Ms. Blake, perfect timing. I was hoping we could finalize the details on the East Coast expansion. I glanced at my family, then back at Daniel. Of course. Let's talk in my office. As I turned to leave, my father called after me. Emma, please. Just think about it. I paused, looking back over my shoulder. I don't need to think about it, Dad. I already built everything you said I couldn't. And I did it without you. Then I walked away, leaving them standing in the lobby of the empire I built with my own hands. In my office, Daniel sat across from my desk, reviewing contracts for the expansion. Apex Customs was about to open 2 new locations on the East Coast, a move that would make my company a national powerhouse. But as Daniel talked about logistics and projections, my mind kept drifting back to the lobby. My father's words echoed in my head. Finally learn the family business. Even now, after everything, he still couldn't see me. Emma. Daniel's voice pulled me back. You all right? I nodded quickly. Yeah, sorry. Just a long morning. Daniel studied me for a moment. Family trouble? I hesitated, then nodded. Something like that. Daniel leaned back in his chair. For what it's worth, I've been following your story for years. What you've built here is extraordinary. You didn't just break into this industry. You redefined it. I felt a lump form in my throat. Thank you. Daniel smiled. Don't let anyone make you feel like your success is anything less than exactly what it is. You earned every bit of this. After Daniel left, I sat alone in my office, staring out the window at the cars being worked on below. My phone buzzed. Another call from my father. I declined it. Then a text came through from Marcus. We're still in town. Can we meet for dinner? We really need to talk. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to cut them off completely and move on. But another part of me, the part that still remembered being a little girl sneaking into the garage to watch my father work, wanted answers. I typed back. Fine. Tomorrow night. 7 p.m. I'll send you the address. The next evening, I arrived at a quiet restaurant in downtown Los Angeles. It was elegant, private, and far from the world my family knew. I sat at a corner table, my hands folded in my lap, waiting. When my father and brothers walked in, they looked out of place. Their clothes were worn, their faces tired. Robert spotted me and walked over slowly. Thank you for meeting us, he said quietly as he sat down. I didn't respond. I simply waited. Tyler spoke first. The shop's in bad shape, Em. We're drowning in debt. Equipment's outdated. Customers are going elsewhere. We don't know what to do. Marcus leaned forward. We're not asking for charity. We're asking for advice. Maybe a loan. Something to help us get back on our feet. My laugh was sharp. A loan? You want me to loan you money for the shop that kicked me out? Robert's jaw tightened. I know I was wrong, Emma. I see that now. But I was raised a certain way. My father taught me that men run the shop and women, they do other things. I thought I was protecting you. My voice was ice. Protecting me? You humiliated me. You told me I wasn't good enough. You gave Marcus and Tyler everything while I got nothing. My father looked down. I thought you'd give up. I thought you'd find something easier. My eyes burned. I didn't want easier. I wanted you to believe in me. The table fell silent. Finally, Marcus spoke, his voice softer. We were wrong, Em. All of us. We treated you like you didn't matter. And now we're watching our shop fall apart while you've built something incredible. Tyler nodded. We're not here to take anything from you. We wanted to see you. To tell you we're sorry. I studied them, searching for sincerity. I saw regret in their eyes, but I also saw desperation. I'm not saving your shop, I said finally. That's not my responsibility. My father's face fell. But, I continued, I will offer you something. They looked up, hopeful. If you want to learn how to run a real business, I'll let Marcus and Tyler work for me. Not as family. As employees. They'll start at the bottom, just like everyone else. They'll work under my team leads, follow my rules, and earn their place. If they prove themselves, maybe I'll teach them what I know. Marcus and Tyler exchanged glances. And Dad, I said, my voice steady, you need to let go of the shop. Sell it. Retire. You held on to it so tightly that you crushed it. It's time to move on. Robert's hands trembled. That shop is all I have. My expression softened slightly. No, it's not. You have 2 sons who need you to step aside so they can grow. And you have a daughter who's willing to give you a second chance, even though you never gave her a first one. Tears filled Robert's eyes. I don't deserve that. My voice was quiet. No, you don't. But I'm offering it anyway. Over the following months, Marcus and Tyler moved to Los Angeles. They started working at Apex Customs, learning the systems, the standards, and the culture I had built. It wasn't easy. They made mistakes. They struggled. But slowly, they began to understand what it took to build something lasting. I watched them from a distance, offering guidance but never coddling them. I treated them the way Vincent had treated me, with high expectations and zero tolerance for excuses. My father sold the shop in Phoenix and moved into a small apartment nearby. He visited Apex Customs occasionally, standing quietly in the background, watching me lead my team with a confidence he never thought possible. One afternoon, as I was reviewing designs in my office, my father knocked on the door. Come in, I said without looking up. Robert stepped inside, holding a small, worn notebook. I wanted to give you this. I glanced up, curious. What is it? It's my grandfather's notebook, Robert said quietly. Every technique, every trick, every lesson passed down through our family. I never showed it to you because I didn't think you'd need it. I took the notebook, my fingers tracing the worn leather cover. I was wrong, Robert continued, his voice breaking. You didn't need it. You built something better than anything in that book. But I wanted you to have it anyway. Because you're part of this family, whether I acted like it or not. I looked up at him, my throat tight. Thank you. Robert nodded, blinking back tears. I'm proud of you, Emma. I should have said it 15 years ago. But I'm saying it now. I'm proud of you. For the first time in over a decade, I felt something shift inside me. Not forgiveness, not yet. But something close to it. A small opening where healing could begin. I'm proud of me too, I said softly. 2 years later, Apex Customs opened its 7th location. The launch event was held at the Los Angeles flagship shop, filled with celebrities, investors, and media. I stood on a stage in front of my team, my family standing in the crowd. I built this company because I was told I couldn't, I said into the microphone. I built it because someone once told me girls don't belong in garages. But I'm standing here today to tell you that belonging isn't given. It's earned. And I earned every single inch of this. The crowd erupted in applause. As I stepped off the stage, my father approached me, his eyes bright with emotion. You did it, he said simply. I smiled. Yeah, I did. And for the first time, I felt truly free. Thank you for reading, and please remember to tell us where you are reading from today.